Greetings all, Ferrari Man 601 here. Given today's occasion of being the 51st birthday of Michael Schumacher, I thought that perhaps we would take a little bit of time briefly to go over some of the highlights in my 1/18th scale Formula One collection regarding the career of Michael Schumacher. From left to right in this shot, here we have the 1991 Jordan 191, with which Schumacher made his Formula One debut at the Belgian Grand Prix in 1991. In the center, we've got the Ferrari F2004 of 2004, with which he won his seventh and final World Championship. And on the right, we have got the 2012 Mercedes-AMG W03, with which he completed his Formula One tenure for the second and final time in 2012. And the car, as we see it here, actually it is liveried in the Belgian Grand Prix livery, replete with Schumacher's bespoke helmet that he used for that particular outing, so appears a little bit unique there relative to how it did on the balance of the season. But no real in-depth review today of either of these models, but just a little bit of B-roll for you to see each car and just to reminisce a little bit for yourselves about the career of Michael Schumacher. And of course, we do wish him as much well as he possibly can have, given the very challenging condition that he has been in since the end of 2013. And of course, we wish him and his family very well. Obviously, taking a look at all three of these cars from above, you can see just the amount of time, 21 years, that spans the production between the Jordan and the Mercedes there. However, some of these things are actually still more common than not when we look at some of the design specifications. Believe it or not, the F2004 and the Mercedes W03 are actually more or less built to the same regulations macrocosmically. Yes, big-time aero revisions for 2009, and then of course the 2012 car still very much carrying the battle scars of those years, but they have the same width. They're both built to 1800 millimeter total axle track, so they do have some dimensional similarity there. Of course, the F2004 being able to be refueled during the race, so much shorter wheelbase than the Mercedes, but comparing it to the Jordan, you can see that they are very much the same size almost in terms of wheelbase. The Jordan, though, being a little bit wider than the F2004, going back to 1991 technical regs there. But really, the Jordan, we've got a V8 car, naturally aspirated 3.5 liter V8 there, running through a manual gearbox, a 6-speed manual there. The F2004, obviously, one of the glorious V10 cars, a 7-speed semi-automatic sequential gearbox in there. And then the Mercedes, another V8 car, but a 2.4 liter naturally aspirated car, but still with the 7-speed sequential gearbox in that as well. So these cars span 21 years, and of course, Formula One, with the way that it's constantly evolving both in terms of sporting and technical regulations, you can see artifacts of that in the overall design of these cars, but still the family resemblance is very much apparent between all three of them. And just one final shot before we get into the B-roll to end this, just a shot from the rear on all three of these cars. You can see just how much they've moved on in terms of the overall packaging of the internal components as well as the aerodynamic design. Here on the Jordan, you see that huge central tunnel exiting the back of the diffuser there, and then a triple element rear wing, big slick tires, of course. On the F2004, things have been toned down a little bit, but so much more sophistication in terms of the detail in the design of a car of this era. Of course, 2004, the last of the true classic F1 cars, as many of them would be considered. But just take a look at the detail work going on with the bottom end of the car there, with the diffuser, the shapes of those strakes and everything, and of course the topside exhaust coming from the V10 out the back there. And then finally on the 2012 Mercedes, so much more svelte packaging of everything there, but still topside exhaust visible, and we still do have a beam wing on cars of this era as well. But again, diffusers, they were knocked down a little bit in terms of their size and overall levels of efficiency, but slick tires came back. So again, over 21 years, the view evolved from something like this, ultimately, to something like this, as far as the career of Michael Schumacher was concerned. So again, it's absolutely wonderful to look at all of these in isolation as well as in the context of each other lined up next to themselves. And really, that is why we like motorsport, isn't it? Is to see how different designers and different manufacturers come up with solutions which can be very different from each other, but ultimately trying to solve very similar problems. I leave you with some B-roll footage with some career stats of Michael Schumacher during this era when he was driving the car that you'll see on screen, but no more commentary for this one. Just enjoy the beauty shots of these models. Perhaps we'll be able to take a closer look at the Jordan or the Mercedes later on this year. I have taken a look at the F2004 back in 2017 now, so that is available on the channel if you'd like to see it. But enjoy the beauty shots to come, and of course I'll get some stats up on the screen as well to each car. Until next time, I thank you all very much for watching. Ferrari Man 601 saying thank you, and of course we will see you soon.